this has been the ultimate roadblock, isn't it? The Northern Ireland border, the Irish Northern Ireland border. Does this resolve that, Theresa May's plan?
Well, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, we've had many, many different proposals on both sides on this to try to break this deadlock. And this is really the big stumbling block before we get the divorce settlement later this year. And that's how we avoid chaotic no deal. That's how we get the transition agreements. It's very, very important to come to an agreement on this. There is some suggestion that the Europeans are shifting their position a bit. They're going to soften their demands for what they're calling the backstop, which was to keep Northern Ireland effectively in the single market. But it looks like May is suggesting a bit of a concession from our side as well. But as you just said, this question about keeping rules tied to Europe for an even longer period, all this is pretty toxic. This is red rag to the bulls in her. Well, exactly, to the Eurosceptics in her party. And if you see what's happened since the Chequers proposal from her, which was a pretty soft form of Brexit, you've seen a big backlash in her own party and also the general polls. So the Conservative supporters, the UKIP, the UK Independence Party, started to rise again in the polls, and Labour are firmly ahead. So this is not playing out well for Mrs May, this approach for soft Brexit. It's not uniting her party as she hoped. It's just creating ever more divisions.
And talks kick off again in Brussels on Thursday.
That's right.
But as May's openly admitted, we're not really going anywhere right now, are we?
Well, we're not expecting a resolution of this this week, next week, but there are going to be substantive negotiations starting again in Brussels. We've got a new Brexit Secretary, Dominic Raab, trying to reset the clock on this. But, you know, the actual hard deadline when we need to get a deal on this is a little bit of a shift.
We're hearing that September's now a pivotal month, isn't it?
Yes.
But I know October is the pivotal month, but pre-October, every month's pivotal. But is October even being pushed back now?
Well, I mean, the reason there's a deadline is because whatever deal is agreed has to be ratified by the British Parliament and by the European Parliament. And they say for that to happen, we need to have several months before Brexit Day at the end of March next year for that to happen. But, you know, the way that European deals are done, they tend to be pretty good at staying up right to the last minute, pulling the all-nighter, burning the midnight oil. So I would not rule out this going right up to the wire. That could be beyond October, even up to the end of this year.